In this live coding session, we're going to keep working towards continuous delivery of an iOS app using TestFlight. But first, we got to get it to work manually. Hey everyone, welcome to the Quality Coding live stream show thing. Good to see Marcus and Mudshark and Grant. Y'all got promoted. Can you tell? Doesn't look like a whole lot of people are here, but that's all right. Hey, Al. Welcome. For those who are watching after the fact, hey, if you, as you go, if you like what you see, you know what to do. Give it a like or a subscribe or whatever it is. All right. What am I going to talk about before we get started? I guess, the usual blah blah for the folks who aren't here right now. My name is John Reed. I am a technical agile coach with Industrial Logic. And if you're not familiar with Industrial Logic, go to industriallogic.com. Here's the thing that I'd really like to, oh my gosh, Junaid, you're up late. Oh man, good to have you. If you haven't gone to the Industrial Logic blog, that's where, for most developers, I think that's where the real meat of our stuff is online. And there's a lot of blog posts. Here are the most recent ones. Something about AI and forecasting, feedback. Here's one. Do they hate writing tests? Right? The inverted test pyramid. Here's a post by me, so on and so forth. Check it out. These are some of the best people in the industry, and sharing some of the best practices around. What are we doing? We are, if we look at our discovery tree, hey Dan, good to have you guys. By the way, anyone else here? Just a few more. All right. Wow. Thank you, Janos. Awesome. A discovery tree is immediately one of the things I love about it. First time chatter, Dev Joel Sereno. Welcome. Good to have you. And Dustin. A discovery tree, one of the things I love about it is how intuitive it is, as opposed to Jira. Now, you can use something like a ticketing system like Jira with a discovery tree. And the way you do that is, you wouldn't have tasks for these little itty bitty things, would you? I mean, who wants to track all that? Then again, maybe they do. But depending on what level you want to track, basically you just say, for example, set up CI. You would add a little note or some, whatever the code, whatever your ticket number is in there. And that could then be the association between the discovery tree and your ticketing system. So we're trying to do an app called Git Inbox, which, man, if you think the trees are nice on the stream, you ought to try it for work. It's amazing. We're trying to make an app I called Git Inbox, but last time we discovered the name is actually Get Out. Like maybe I should just rename it. Awesome. That's cool, Marcus. We're working on project setup. we're doing project setup and then drawing the rest of the owl, as the joke goes. We've gone through and we've done various things around making the project and tweaking Xcode settings. We've done set up the build system, what most people call CI. And now we're working on the CD part. All this before, I mean, the app itself is nothing but hello world right now. I haven't touched anything except setting up the ability to not run the main app during tests. So there's our lovely app. Right, and we were working on trying to get TestFlight going, first manually and then automating it. And we got stuck last time. I got blocked by this. Didn't realize I needed to make an icon, so I made an icon. And I'll show you what it is. Ta-da! I am not an artist. But that just, it makes me smile, so that's pretty good. So, with that, let us now try to get get the rest of it. Oh, hey, a lot more folks have joined. Say hello in the chat. Even if you're just dropping by, it's fun just to see what's going on. So, with this, if we now go to the organizer, I actually went through and validated. I mean, actually, the first time I validated, or I tried to validate, it didn't, because it said your app icon has transparency in it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to put a background on it. So now we should be able to go. So let's try, let's see what happens here. If I hit the big distribute button. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm not going to the App Store. It's not external, so I shouldn't have to like fill out a whole description around what is this app, especially since it's Hello World. Internal only for now. Let's try it. Here we go. Drum roll. And that it's been a while. Hey, Tukes. I'm well. I hope you are well. Waiting, collecting. Oh. Okay, uploaded. So I've got App Store Connect preloaded here. Let's see if I refresh this. What's going on? Okay. How long does this take? Hopefully not too long. Oh no, really? I mean, there's really no point in trying to automate something if it's not working manually. And how y'all doing? You want to hear some jokes? Gosh. This is RNG? Okay, I don't get RNG. A real random number generation. Well, okay. Processing. Well, what else is there to talk about? I should have started with this and then talked about the Industrial Logic blog while we were waiting. Here. Dear programmers refuse to do TDD because they hate writing tests. I'm just going to pop this in. I don't think I've even read this one yet. I'm just going to pop it in here so that y'all can check it out while we wait. Whoa, what an amazing illustration of the big ball of mud. Where did he find that? Tim Ottinger is an amazing person. I am just still tickled to be able to call these people my colleagues. Okay, do I refresh? Playdate. I do not know Playdate. Now there are a ton of C testing frameworks. Back in the day, back when I was a kid, handheld console. Oh, interesting. Back in the day, there were no established frameworks. You wrote your own. Unless you were working with Smalltalk or Java, where you had SUnit and JUnit. You wrote your own. That's how I started. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, gosh. What else? Oh, here we go. There, I had to refresh. Okay, missing compliance, blah, blah, blah. This is also expected. Basically, you know, I have to say I'm just using normal encryption, not anything funky. But that does remind me that one of the things we want to do is I don't want to have to answer this question every time, and especially not for automation. So I'm going to put a note down here about, yes, specify encryption in plist. Right? So this is an interesting one where we're here, the orange, here's our legend up here. We've got completed, in progress, to do. Pretty intuitive. So I'm trying to get this working, but in the process had this thought like, oh, let's put this over here. There's no need to build this out in its entirety. This is a discovery tree. plist now supported. Marcus, speaking in TLAs, top level something. I don't know. Let's find out. Top level domain. Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. I get you. All right. So we have to answer these questions. Say, what are we using? We will definitely be using encryption, but it's not going to be proprietary. Or make sure. Wait, what? What am I going to be using? No, I think it's this one, right? What type? No, that are no, not proprietary. Standard, right? Help me. I think this is it. I can just say it's standard encryption. Is it going to the App Store in France? Do I have to answer that right now? Actually, I can pretty much, let's just say it's not going to France. Yes, exactly. We will be using whatever Apple builds in for encryption. So really, is it none? I think it is standard encryptions. instead of, or in addition to using, oh, instead of apples. So none. Okay. Thank you. Teamwork. This is part of why this kind of thing, even though it is, you know, you're dealing with lag and you're talking to me through a chat box. If you haven't done pair programming, ensemble programming, this is the magic that happens, is that it is so much faster to get stuff done by having multiple minds. Way faster. And the quality is better. There we go. Ready to test. All right. So now, if I go to my TestFlight, will it show up? It doesn't. Do I need to... Sorry, something went wrong. What? Invited? Don't see an invitation. I'm working on my thing here, and I see an app from Industrial Logic on here, but I don't see mine. What's the deal? And it looks like I was invited, but there's no answer? Reinvite. Do. Let's try this. And I'll check my mail. Here we go. Oh, okay. Got the email. So now I should be able to view in TestFlight. Oh, there's the icon. Aha! Accept. There it is. Install. And I should see open. Hello world. We have success. Woo! All right, so that's done. Woo! Good. I do want to do this, and what else is involved with automation? This is going to be the thing. Now, most of y'all use, and I never can remember, what's it called? The package that everyone uses. And I'm not being pejorative, saying everyone uses to do TestFlight stuff. I just want to try to avoid bringing in dependencies. And I think it's more fun. Fastlane, thank you. Yep. So, to do this, I think the easiest way to proceed, because the nice thing, yeah, Xcode Cloud, I really ought to look into Xcode Cloud now that they've opened up, you know, the sort of the free limited amount. I'm sure I wouldn't blow past the limited amount. Ta-da, installed. You can see my phone. All right, what are we trying to do here? I am trying to get to GitHub. because on GitHub, I've done all this. Here, I'll tell you the scary part of this project is that so far we have done stuff that I have done before. I've gone through and I've set up once continuous delivery on an app. And so I can sort of cheat by looking at it instead of wrestling through it. After that is going to be where the really scary part comes. The big unknowns of stuff that I'll be like, and it'll be a lot more looking stuff up and you helping me and maybe using Chat GPT. We'll see. Provisioning. I am going to look at, there we are. Jeroen, my friend Jeroen Linarts set this up. Should I just switch to Xcode Cloud for this? Having gone through some of this, would that just be easier? I wonder. Maybe it would be more fun. And maybe it'd be more in line with what most people will be doing. I don't know. But also, I would expect that some places are using, like small indie folks are probably using Xcode Cloud, but that companies, yeah, I think that the vast bulk of existing build and deployment systems will be on something like GitHub. Yeah, exactly, Janos. 25 hours a month of compute time? That ought to be more than enough. One would think. Wow. Something to check out. Okay, I'll try to keep going. So this is Circle CI. And hey, Slimine, you're using Bitrise? So it's good that we have these options. Okay. Here is, let's try to follow the steps that Jeroen provides. In case you're not familiar with him, you may know him by the name AppForce1. This guy. Yeah. I'll promote him. Why not? All right, let's see what he's got. So he says, right, we need it. We need a YAML. And this is a nice basic starting point. So let's start creating the YAML called deploy. That's a good name. Let's see. And it needs to go in .github workflows where we currently have our build YAML. Hang on a sec. Oh, I forgot to change the font size here. Let me do that real quick for you all. There we go. That should be nice and visible. It does need to use Mac, unfortunately, because we're going to be calling Apple things to do the TestFlight business. So macOS latest. I'm not sure if we want macOS latest. Think what's all in lowercase? macOS? Let's look at the other one, the build one. Yeah, let's stick with this. macOS 13. And dump file hierarchy. And right now, this is going to be a manual trigger. That seems fine. Eventually, I want to hook it up so that this works only if the build works. And let me mark that as a thing, a note. So fired only when like that. Yep. Okay. Let us all right. I should now mark this as in progress, and this is in progress. Again, the thing about, or a nice thing about discovery trees is you are discovering the work as you go. You don't have to, you could have like big ideas, but you don't have to get down to the nitty gritty things. This is a communication tool. So I think if we just, I don't really need that comment. On push, oh, I don't want it on push. I want it manual right now. Because it's not going to be on push, it's going to be connected to the other action, because it looks like there's a way to do that. In fact, that's probably something we ought to look at. How to tie one action to the other. But for now, let's set this up with a manual run, and it's just going to dump stuff. All right. Another tool that might be handy for those of you who have not seen is the GitHub desktop app. It makes it nicer to see the diffs and to do commits. So I think I'd like to try to do that instead of going through my going through the terminal all the time. And I discovered I don't care for how it looks in Xcode. I don't know. It doesn't matter how you push, right? It doesn't really matter. Create, deploy. So this is going to be an environment change. And I'm going to commit. Now here's a magic button up here. This button, a nice thing about this in desktop, GitHub desktop, is it's sort of a magic button. It changes according to what's going on. Right now it's saying push here, click here to push, because I've got a couple changes. I've got the icon and this thing. If there's an update on the remote side, it'll say, hey, click here to pull. So let's push. And it's up. And I can just click here to go to the page where I can see the action fire. Oh, the action won't fire off. It's just sitting here. Let us run it since it's not tied to anything. I think there it goes. It should just fire up. Another very nice feature of GitHub Desktop is it makes it easy to add co-authors. Co-authors, you can, there's a format for adding co-authors in Git messages, commit messages. That's really clunky. And so there are various tools to make it easier, and this is the easiest I've found yet. So I could just click there and say, oh, this person and this person, we all worked on it together. All right, so there it is. It should now have done the dump. That wasn't much of a dump. Where's the contents? Oh, there's nothing there. Duh. It didn't, we didn't tell it to fetch anything. All right, let's go back to Jeroen's instructions. Okay. Step 1, check out the code. First, this is checkout v1. Checkout is now updated. It is still an external dependency, but it's one you need. So here it is. There. Let's see. Just going to bring this in. So we are going to check out the stuff. What else we got here? Everything else here is around our setting up Xcode and running the tests. Let's see what else Jeroen has to say. So check out the code, compile, archive, and code sign. Okay, so here's our select the Xcode. We should be able to do that. Oops. 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 Hang on. I should be able to just copy this. I also still like to see what version of Xcode I'm using before I ask Xcode to do anything. And I'm just going to copy this kernel. No, we'll do that later. All right, so setting up Xcode. Here we go. Xcode build and archive. Again, I'm like, can I do this? Instead of trying this, can we do it locally first? Put it in a script. I'm trying to remember how I did it for InstaLogic, our little training thing here. Let me peek and see what I've done before. We've got the deploy script. Various things we'll get to. Xcode build. So it looks like I just dropped it straight in here. I think I would like a script. Okay, so just as we've done, let me go back to the root. We've got run tests, so I should be able to make a script for build and export, basically. Sorry about the size. Here we go. Hey, Janos, thanks for coming by. Cheers. build and export archive. I want a script that does that. So what do we call it? I'm going to copy run tests to call it build archive. Where it will take, let's just bring this down a little, Xcode build, not test. Let me shrink this so I can see it. Not test. Project scheme SDK iPhone OS. Destination, I think, goes away because it's not for a simulator. We've got configuration release scheme I have. Now this is an interesting thing. He sets the derived data path explicitly to something local instead of having it go off into, you know, yeah, exactly, so that it's in a consistent place. So let's copy this stuff. All right, we've got derived data path is derived data. Archive path. This looks like the verb to me. So I'm going to move this to the start because that's where I like it. Archive get out. Or should it be get inbox as the original name? I'm not sure. So this is a step. The question is, can we do this? Oh, Michaela in the house. Welcome. Always glad to have you. All right, so let's try it and see if it works. So the idea is I'm doing it locally in a script rather than putting it up. Okay, succeeded. Rather than putting it up onto GitHub and having to, wrangle it there. So that is a step. I'm going to commit this much. Yeah, I'd like to commit this. What's all this? Ooh, okay. So, yes, I want to commit this, but I don't want to commit my derived data. That all went where it belongs. So let's add it to git ignore exactly. My derived data is all auto-generated stuff, and so I put stuff, anything manually I do, I put at the top, like that. And that way, it's clear that this is basically manual, and here, from here on out, if I want to regenerate this, add another template, I can just open it and go there. All right, so let's add derived data and have a look at how that, there, that's better. Okay. So this is, yeah, gitignore.io is my friend. I am using, so for the terminal itself, iTerm2 is just, it's got more things I like. For example, there's a way to say, fire off a long thing, a long command, and set a notification to me when it's done. But for the shell, I am using fish. Anything that gives you auto completion is a win. Oh my Z shell. Oh my Z. Maybe you meant oh my Z shell. Is pretty common for Z shell users. I came to love fish. Pros and cons of fish. It is super fast. The completion is amazing. The con of fish is that most of the examples out there do not use, just have plain old bash stuff. And sometimes you need to change it. So you have to know, like, oh, setting a variable, that's done a little differently. So it is crazy fast. For example, if I say like ls and I just start typing G and I hit command, then I can tab through and say, which one do I want? Super nice. All right, let's get this in. This is an environment change. This is build verb. When this is committed, it will add build archive script. That's good enough for now. Right. And I'm going to push that up. Okay. That is part one. Part two is to export the archive. And this is why it was helpful to have it in a sane archive path. So the truth, Michaela, is that we are doing all sorts of stuff. I am still in project setup. And as part of project setup, I'm doing CI/CD. This is where things get scary. 2 weeks, you're optimistic. We'll see. So that's where we are. Yeah. I'd have to get an adult diaper. Or I'd have to use my I do have a be right back setting, right? Where I run out. You stream for 4 hours. I just don't have the stamina, and I've got other things I want to do in life, and I figure other people have other things they want to do in life, and I figure nobody's going to watch the whole thing except for a few diehards. So where are we? Okay, trying to do this. So here's our next thing, Xcode build. What is the command? Where is it hiding? Is it just Xcode export archive? All right, I'm going to at least join these. Okay, we've got derived data. So it looks like it needs to be derived data, get out, exe archive, export options. Oh, we haven't done this. It's probably a good time to look into setting up the plist for App Store stuff. But let's see what it does. It'll probably scream. Build archive, blah, blah, blah. Export failed because there's no App Store plist. All right. Well, Jeroen, what goes in App Store plist? Or did you, maybe he forgot to note that in his instructions. I can't see it all. Come on, show me the whole thing. There we go. So this is my cheat. Yes, task failed successfully. That's a good thing to point out. That I'm able to work this out locally rather than go through a bunch of, you know, wrangling on GitHub. Do it locally first. Provisioning. Provisioning App Store plist. That's what I did. Okay. That seems like a good idea to keep the provisioning stuff in a folder. Let me just copy over. Let me. Oh, it's already in provisioning App Store plist. Okay. What did I? Talk amongst yourselves. Help and hey, this is a fine way to use my stream. What have I got in this plist? Here we go. This has some of the stuff. Oh, this probably has some secret. No, it doesn't have secrets in here. All right. This is going to be some stuff we have to set up. But I don't think this is where we have the plist stuff around encryption. All right. Whoops. Come back. Let's keep note of what's going on. So create YAML, we're actually not exactly doing that yet. So I'm going to mark it as still in progress. Whoops. I instead want a, what did I call it? A build script. Build archive. That is what we are doing. And as part of that, we need a App Store plist with a bunch of secrets. Junaid, thanks for staying up late. I'll see you, man. App Store plist with a bunch of stuff. All right. No secrets in here. We're going to keep the secrets, encode them, and take care of them. So all this should be fine, but it does need to say, you know, what is the provisioning profile and so forth. So I want something like this. Yeah. You know, I kind of want to do that right now before I forget. The encryption stuff. And that's okay, isn't it? That's allowed, isn't it? ITS app uses non-exempt encryption. Actually, no, I'm going to put this off because if this is successful, here's why. Even though I thought, I want to do it now, I'm thinking about it, we're talking about it. But where'd my window go? But we had to specify the encryption manually to get, you know, to basically get Apple to approve the TestFlight upload. And I feel like that is a step we can do. Oh, that's actually not a bad place for it. It's a step we can do down the road once I have like set up secrets, which I am not, of course, not going to show you, but I'll show you where they go. That once all this is successful, then it will still go up to that TestFlight's place and say, what, you know, you gotta answer these questions. So in terms of order, I try to keep it left to right. In practice, things happen, and that doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily true. We got rid of that. But it makes it easier. If you try to order it left to right, it makes it easier for a team to say what's next. And yeah, you may choose something else and say, let's do this, and discover you can do it. So let's put this off till later. All right, the App Store plist. What's it got? I'm going to copy raw file and try to set this up locally, and then that might be it. So this goes into provisioning. Here we go, and I'm just going to paste it in, even though it's all the wrong stuff. Now let's fix it up. The team ID is what? Where do you get the team ID? Is it this? ZYT blah, blah, blah? ZYT2B38A3. Whoops. Caps. I changed my caps lock recently because I sometimes type in Japanese and it's easier. I didn't realize there was a setting for switching keyboard scripts by using the caps lock key, in which case the regular caps lock function I get by holding it. iPhone signing certificate. Does it have to look like this? Apple. Org. Wait a second. What was here before? The string. I don't know what goes here. Let's see. Compile bitcode false. Method app store team ID me. Upload bitcode false. Upload symbols true. Signing style manual. I'm not sure about this, because this is not manual, what I have here, right? It looks like it's automated, so I'm not sure what's going to go on here. And I'm not sure you want to see me wrestle through all this, but here we are. Okay, thanks, Al. Provisioning profiles. I'm not sure what this is, like the name of the profile. If I go into profiles, it's none of these. Is it just Git inbox? It might be. I'm just going to try this. All right. The nice thing is that we can give it a try. Oops, I'm up a level. And Fish Shell is really smart about remembering what what commands you issued on what directory. I think you might need to manually make a new provisioning profile for CI since it won't be using the automatic signing stuff. Yeah, okay. All right. So this is no fun, but it is a start, and we are at time. I'm starting to think this might be a good place to try to wrap up. What I can do is say add not working yet. Export archive. Like that. Just to make sure it's in there, and you know, it doesn't block people from working on the app, but it does communicate to a team what's going on and what needs to be worked on, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna wrestle through this this at least a little bit on my own, I think. This is not the fun stuff. This is dull. And I really appreciate your help. And if I can't get it, then we'll come back next time and you can help me some more. But there it is. Yeah, this is a good place to stop. All right. Thank you for joining for this hour. Got a few more folks who have joined, and I'm glad you came by. So the plan will be, let's see if I can't get this working locally, and then I'll stop. It can be fun when it works. Yeah, so I won't like keep going with the GitHub Actions stuff. That's still to come. The question is, can I get this to work locally and figure out what key goes where, and if I need to create a distribution certificate, a profile, maybe I need to do that. And that's certainly something that I probably wouldn't share anyway. So take care. This is an interesting ride. You've wow, thank you, the Sly Mind. Come on back next week. We'll continue from some point. For those of you who are watching after the fact on YouTube, hey, give it, if you've watched this far, give it a like. Even if you didn't like it. If you didn't like it, you wouldn't be here hearing my words. So there you go. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. And yeah, see you around. All right. Bye-bye.